Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back today for another part in the six-part series where we rank every single class type in Marvel Contest of Champions as of summer 2025. So, we are moving on to the Cosmic Class today, and this one was not easy, man. There's so many banger Cosmic Champions, especially as 6 stars, which is a big reason why for these videos we're going to be talking about the top 5 current 7-star champions. Then after we do those rankings, I will jump to the 6 stars and rank the top 6 stars as well, but we're going to be primarily focused and talking the bulk on the 7-star champions. So before we get into anything, we just got to make the bog standard disclaimers that, this of course is 100% my opinion and how I see the game after almost a decade of playing it and being a content creator, making videos about the game, about champions every single day. So I do like to think I have quite a bit of knowledge when it comes to this stuff, but that doesn't mean I am just automatically right. We all have different experiences. We'll pull different champions from the crystals and have used different champions to get through different types of content. So our experiences and the way we see the game and these champions are going to be vastly different. So it's totally cool to disagree. I'm just telling it how I see the game after all my experience. And please comment to see how our experiences differ. But just be nice about it. That's all I ask. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and get into the rankings. So, 7-star Cosmics. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we actually have a two-way tie again. And it is between Gallon, one of the most recent Cosmic additions into the 7-star class. They have been holding Gallon back for a while, but we finally got him now in the Titan. I recently got him Awakened, which I'm pretty excited about. Definitely going to be taking this guy up to at least rank 3, maybe rank 4. I don't know, but certainly rank 3. There's an upcoming Battlegrounds meta where he's going to be the number 1 best champion in the game for it, and that is Electric Defense. Gallon will be the best champ for that meta, and that is the weeks 1 and 2 meta for the upcoming Brawl qualifier. So I'm definitely going to be ranking him up to rank 3. He's going to be destroying that. Really excited about that. Any time where there, is power drain, burn, lock, or special lock effects from a non-mystic champion, Gallon is going to be your go-to. He's going to do so phenomenal in any types of those situations. Gallon, he has some incredible immunities. He's immune to Fate Seal and Nullify, which is awesome. Also, his staff, this cool-looking thing, grants him some stuff as well, granting him, it preserves Gallon's power and grants immunity to power drain, burn, lock, and special lock. So a plethora of extremely useful immunities here. A lot of the power ones and nullify immunity. And on a Cosmic champion, having nullify is very rare. Very, very powerful ability there. Gallon, he's great. What I love about him, well, also, he can make heralds, which is really cool. He can empower other Cosmic champions in the class, sort of like a Apocalypse Horseman type deal, which can give some great stuff. You can just grant power burn to anyone, and then heralds gain 7% resistance to all damage debuffs for each victory. I think that caps at like 35% or something, though. And then you also become unblockable when you launch a special into the opponent's block, which is pretty nice. But Gallon, what I really love about him is that, you build up your harvest and then you drop it with a special and you know how much damage you're going to get. So it's very easy to just calculate how much you need to build to, drop it, and then you just kind of ensure that your opponent dies. It's awesome. It's really cool. So that's Gallon coming at the number 5 spot. One of my personal favorite champions for sure. And he is tied at that number 5 spot with Adam Warlock. So Adam Warlock, man, is a phenomenal champion. We got him as a 7-star for the banquet, I think it was 2023 banquet, alongside Moondragon and some other champions there. So, I remember when Adam had first come out, and everyone thought he was so OP. And we're and this was right before we got 7 stars. So he was a 6-star for a long time, and we were unsure if he was even going to get the 7-star treatment, but he did. Finally during the banquet. And yeah, dude, I feel like Adam has fallen off a little bit, but he's still so powerful You know, it's really just a little bit of, you just need a little bit of AI cooperation and just some practice playing him. And then, man, just being fully unblockable, hitting stupidly hard, critting, just so much damage. Plus, you have the safety net of the pod on the special too. I really love the pod. The pod also acts as just like such a good way to bait out special attacks. It's awesome. So the pod's really powerful. He also has passive power gain, which I really like. That's pretty rare outside of the Mystic class. But he passively gains power. This also makes Adam a pretty solid defender. He's totally a pretty good defender. And whenever he's power drained or burned, he gains a non-stacking energized passive. And then when he enters the pod, he also gets some really nice utility, allowing him to counter. Where is it? He gains an energy protection buff, granting immunity to shock, incinerate, and cold snap and frostbite for 60 seconds. So that's really nice. And again, you can just activate this anytime just with a quick double tap, and then boom, you enter your pod. So if something is sketchy, something scary, you messed up, something bad's about to happen, boom, just go hide in the pod. I love that. I do wish you could like customize how many taps it is, because for me, like, I'll double tap my screen all the time, just like as a way to gauge distance and timing when it comes to maybe intercepting. So sometimes, like, I'm accidentally just tapping the screen for different reasons and I enter the pod. So I would like it if it could be, like I said, it's like a triple tap to enter the pod. I would love that, but it's fine. It's still good. So that is Adam and Gallon tied for our number 5 spot. There were so many good cosmics, there had to be a couple of ties. Speaking of ties, at the number 4 spot, we have another two-way tie between Medusa and another champion. So speaking of the banquet, Medusa was our banquet representation for 2024. Adam was 2023, Medusa's 2024. And so, Medusa has always been a good champion. Ever since she first came out back in the contest, she was very powerful, especially for that time. And, just really good champ. She countered every single robot in the game, and just turned them all off completely. And they just got no power, no ability accuracy. It is great. Then, they decided to release Medusa as a 7-star and also buff her. Not that she really needed it, but yeah, they decided to make her even better. So, I think the way Medusa worked before was she needed to be awakened to get the Fury. I think that was tied in the Awakened ability before. So now that's just in the base kit. And for the Awakened ability, while you have at least 3 of the Fury buffs active when Medusa would be struck, she has a chance to remove the stun and auto block the attack. Like, was the Sig always at the auto block? I don't even remember now. But then I remember this is absolutely new. Medusa never had any type of true accuracy before. So now whenever Medusa inflicts armor shatter or gains a fervor buff, you gain a true accuracy buff for 35 seconds. So that's going to completely allow you to counter, evade. And does it counter auto block too? I'm not sure. But that's a really nice piece of utility for Medusa to have. She already had great utility before. That's really solid. Now she's always had full immunity to poison. So basically, like, after the buff, she hits harder now. So more damage, more utility, and she's a better defender, essentially. So, yeah, man, they did a really, really great job with her buff. Not that, like, she really, again, even needed it. The only reason Medusa isn't higher is there's a lot more armor break immunity and armor shatter immunity going around these days, even in the tech class. Like, for example, Sentinel, after his buff, I think, like, with Medusa, you need to go to, like, a special 3 to shut him down. So it's trickier now. But, yeah, that is Medusa at the number 4 spot. And again, she's tied with Null for this number 4 spot. I think Null and Medusa are quite comparable champions. I would say, Null is certainly superior to her in long form content, but Medusa is definitely superior to Null in shorter to medium form content. But that's not to say Null's bad for that. He's still great. Null is also a great defender. I would say definitely more of a stall option than Medusa. He's really going to slow you down, especially if his Sig is high with the Inequity Mastery. But yeah, dude, Null, he's so cool first and foremost. Like, looking at these champs on PC, they're just bigger. I get to see more. It looks really, man, no. Like, I never really noticed, like, the little black symbiote bits on his, like, his shoulders and stuff before. That looks really cool. But, yeah, dude, I've always liked Null. I've always enjoyed playing him. I love his regeneration. I love how you play him. My favorite thing about Null, I would say, is that, okay, true accuracy. So, yeah, it is evade and auto block. So, Medusa also counters evade and auto block with that true accuracy that she gets from the Sig. And Null just has that. His symbiote attacks, which are his special 1, his mediums, and his heavies. So it's really nice utility to just have always. Always have that built in, and it's not tied to a buff. Like, for example, Medusa, she gets that true accuracy buff. Well, what if that buff gets nullified, or neutralized, or staggered, or any number of reasons, right? You can't just turn off Null's mediums and heavies and special 1s. No, that doesn't get turned off. It's just perma true accuracy. Like, that is awesome. That's such a nice piece of utility to have, dude. And, no, it's really just like, what's the fight call for? How much ramp do you need to get? If it's a short fight, you don't need much ramp. If it's a long fight, a really long fight, ramp to a ton, and then drop special 3, and then do hundreds of thousands of damage, like in a combo. He's customizable to play. Depending on what type of on what type of obstacles in front of you, how much you want to build him up. And yeah, dude, no, he's a really awesome champ. He's managed to stay relevant. All the debuffs pair with the Despair Master as well allows him to, counter healing. That was just a great champ, man. Really great dual threat. I've been considering ranking him up lately. I think if he was already sigged up, I probably would, but it's always been the Sig investment for me that I don't want to invest in Null. But if you're willing to invest those Sigs, he is really worth it. So that's our number 5 and number 4 spots. We had two-way ties both. Just so many good Cosmic Champions. All right, guys, coming in at the number 3 spot, we have a 2025 Cosmic Champion, and that is Dark Phoenix. So Dark Phoenix is the epitome of what I think is a very, very toxic defender. Like, kind of the way that I look at Dark Phoenix is kind of like a super, way worse, souped-up version of what Iceman was kind of when he came out. And, there was, just to give you guys a little bit of lore, back in the day, I'm sure a lot of you guys know Dorky Diggity Dave, one of our current community managers. So way back in the day, when he was just a YouTuber, he was, Kabam asked him to participate in designing a fight, and so Dave designed Iceman. Iceman was one of his favorite champs. He made a whole song about Iceman. Can I get an Iceman? It's a great song. And so he made this boss fight of Iceman, and it did a lot of cold snap damage, and it got so bad that literally not only Dave but also his family, like his wife and I think like his newborn child at the time, were like getting death threats over this. Okay? Over an Iceman boss fight. Death threats. Like, isn't that ridiculous? I also designed a fight at one point and also got death threats. So I don't think I got it nearly as bad as Dave did, but I can at least understand a little bit what that was like, and that's just so stupid, man. And like, I was getting them. His family was getting them too. Like, that is just so screwed up, man. But anyways, like, I think Dark Phoenix is like that, like on steroids. Like, first of all, with Cold Snap, at least there was a few immunities for Cold Snap in the game. Like back then, like there was Sabretooth, there was Sasquatch, like I think both of them were out by that point. Like there was some. It was rare, but there was some. With Nova Flames that Dark Phoenix applies, like there's Dark Phoenix herself, who's immune to Nova Flame. There's Iceman now, after he's been buffed, and that's been added to him. And there's there's Human Torch. Yeah. Which I think was also added to him. Because, hold on a second. Iceman got that added to him. Right? Oh, crap. trying to make sure. Is it just those 3? So yeah, full immunity to Nova Flame, which did not exist before. Again, that was added after he was buffed. And then Human Torch. The Human Torch isn't even immune to Nova Flames. That's right. So yeah, like it's Iceman and I think it's Dark Phoenix right now. And I think that's literally it for immunities to Nova Flames currently. Now, that's not to say like that's the only way to counter her. You know, if you bring in Mystic Champions that have applied enough poisons, you know, you can not take the Nova Flame damage. But like, man, it's such a toxic champion. Dark Phoenix is as a defender, man. I really don't like it. I honestly regret taking her to rank 4 now, just because of how toxic of a defender she is. Like I don't even want to deal with it. Like I would just rather ban her than have to deal with the toxicity that goes along with fighting her. You know, 6 months from now, I'm sure it's not going to be nearly as bad. I'm sure we're going to get more counters. We already got Nico, who's like a hard counter. You know, we're only going to get more counters. I saw someone else say this, and I totally agree. That they saw someone else say that they think we're going to see another champ, another 2025 champ with Nova Flame immunity, and I completely agree. I absolutely think that's going to happen. So, you know, that's why Dark Phoenix is so high, just because there's really not that many champs that can counter it. Even the champs that people say, oh yeah, like use Hood. Like I see people try Hood against her and they come out with like 20% health, and it's like, Hood's supposed to be one of the best counters? Like what? Man, she's just so ridiculous on D. That's what really has her up this high. But things that I do like about Dark Phoenix, I like playing her on attack. She's actually really fun as an attacker. She hits pretty hard, a lot of damage over time in those Nova Flames, which again, no one's really immune to. So on offense, that's a great thing, but on defense, not so much. You know, for longer fights, you can apply permanent Nova Flame passives, which are pretty cool. You can apply a nice Fat Fury on the special too, but really, you know, just not dying. Phoenix Rising being she's a little bit reminiscent of like Nick Fury in the fact that, you know, you die and then you heal to full. But with Nick Fury, you know, you heal to full and then your health deteriorates to 30%. With Dark Phoenix, no, you die, you heal, you keep all that healing. And it's very, very easy. I have made a Dark Phoenix video, and I showed it off multiple times in that video, where I die, and then I easily heal back to 100% health. It's fun. That is by far my favorite thing about Dark Phoenix. That's like the only reason why I don't fully regret ranking up, because I do like playing her on offense. It's just so rare that I actually get a chance to play her on offense, you know. Yeah, I just think she's a lot overtuned as a defender currently. I think she's a very toxic defender. And just not really good for the health of the game, especially because she was sold. That's not helping matters either. Whereas a champion like Yelena Belova, I think, is a very healthy and good defender for the game, alternatively. Alright, speaking of unhealthy defenders, number 2, Serpent. Serpent, the first ever most toxic champ, BS, non-rebalanced garbage that we've ever gotten, man. That's Serpent. I still cannot believe that this guy did not get rebalanced in any shape or form. That is still to this day absolute BS. Yeah, his hammer looks really cool on PC though. Like this little jewel part looks so cool. I'm getting distracted again. Dude, Serpent, man, he's just like I really don't like Serpent. And I think he's really unhealthy for the game. And because also what he has caused is he's caused so many new Mystic Champions to just focus on countering him. And like nothing else. For example, Isofiend. You know, Isofiend, I feel like they gave her so much of her power budget in order to counter Serpent's death immunity. And sure, she does that. Great. But she doesn't really do anything else that good. And I feel like so many of these new Mystic Champions are tailor-designed to counter Serpent or something about Serpent. And that's like it. That's not what I want in every new Mystic Champion. You know, that's not. I feel like Serpent's release has ruined the Mystic class as a result. That's honestly what I feel Serpent has done. A little bit of a domino effect in the game. I think the Mystic class is one of the weakest 7-star classes in game right now, especially before they got Nico. Before they got Nico, dude, the Mystic class was on life support. Now that they got Nico, things are looking a lot better. And if they keep getting champs like that, that not only counter Serpent but Dark Phoenix and Deathless Thanos and all these other things, and as a defender, like if we keep getting mystics like that, the mystic class is going to get a lot better. But like I call it serpent syndrome. That's what the mystic class has been suffering from, serpent syndrome. And serpent syndrome wouldn't exist. We wouldn't need all these counters for serpent if we didn't have serpent in the first place, or if he was just toned down to a more reasonable level. So that's what I mean by when I say champs are toxic for the game and stuff. They just have an unhealthy effect on things. And I think, the Mystic class's deterioration has been a big one. And I think it's all Serpent's fault, man. Because Kabam have been like, oh, well, here's a new Serpent counter. Well, here's a new Serpent counter. And, like, that's all these champions do. Anyways, Serpent still, to this day remains so powerful. I started to rank up some counters and, try to deal with him. But I've switched to just no. I'd rather just ban him. I'd just rather not ban him, not deal with him, not have to worry about having counters in my deck, not having to worry about drafting those counters. Just ban him, and then it's like he doesn't exist for me, at least in Battlegrounds. And that's really where I have the biggest issue with this guy is in Battlegrounds. In a place like Alliance War, I actually enjoy fighting him because I can take my time and I don't have to worry so much about like coming out with full health. But I just think he's so toxic for Battlegrounds, man. But I actually do enjoy fighting Serpent in other areas with, obviously, good counters, too. But I do enjoy fighting him in Alliance War, like with one of my favorite champs, Sim Supreme, who's not the most meta-relevant Mystic, and who's certainly not a Battlegrounds champ. But in War, like, he just destroys Serpent anywhere on the map, even with Hazard Shift. Like, it's fun. Like, I would enjoy having, like, a big million health boss Serpents for, like, a challenge, and like having there be crazy cool rewards. I would not mind that. We had a Serpent in the Wheel of Fate quest, and I didn't mind that too bad. I had the decent counters for him. It's okay. But yeah, Serpent, man, he's still just so ridiculous on defense. Like, there's not a single champion in the game that has as many defensive abilities as Serpent. You will not find another champion in the game that has as many as he does. It's simply not fair. It's not fair to the rest of the champions in the game that he gets this many abilities. It's just truly not. It's not fair in my opinion. But yeah, Serpent also, we've really only been talking about him as a dingus defender, but he's still a phenomenal attacker. He's got cold snap immunity, which is really powerful. Reduces the incoming bleeds by 90%. And he has that true focus. Anytime he throws a special attack. Where is it? There's so many abilities that it's hard to even find what I'm looking for. There, True Focus. So on activation out of any special attack and True Focus buff, this buff is only removed when Serpent is struck. So as long as you don't get hit, you get a permanent True Focus for the rest of the fight, countering the effects of evade and miss, which is so powerful, dude. That's so powerful. Yeah, man. Like, it's so hard for Serpent to die as a defender, and that makes him such a tank and such a safe option to use on offense. So yeah, Serpent's very powerful on attack. But yeah, he's mainly up here as a defender. Just the craziest defender kit-wise. It's just nuts. Brian Grant made a really good comparison, and he said that Serpent essentially he doesn't feel like a newly released monthly champion. No, what he feels like is an end chapter boss fight. That's what he feels like. Like the Collector or something, or the Grandmaster. Like that's what Serpent feels like, and it's true. I was like, Brian, you're a genius, man. That totally rings true. That's a great analogy, great comparison there. That's Serpent. The number 2 best Cosmic Champion in the game of the current 7-star roster. All right, before we get to the number 1, we have like 5 honorable mentions, some shoutouts to give. So let's give those shoutouts. So, Superior Iron Man. Superior Iron Man is great. He's a really awesome champ. He's very powerful. The biggest issue with him is I struggle to find good uses for him. Like, I ranked him up to rank 3 like months and months ago, like the first time I used him was when in Wheel of Fate, actually. Like I probably went like 6 months without ever using him after I ranked him up. And the reason I ranked him up was because I duped him from a Titan Nexus or something. So I kind of felt like I had to rank him up. And I knew he's good. But yeah, I used him in the Wheel of Fate against the Human Torch on like Quest 2 or 3. And he did a phenomenal job for that. He did a great job. I just struggled to find uses for him. But when I find a good use for him, he always does a great job. So shout out to Superior Iron Man. Shout out to Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill, he's alright. He's alright. He's a little disappointing for what a new Thor type of champion should be. I just wish he was a little bit faster in Battlegrounds. Yeah, he's definitely good, but just more for medium to longer fights. You know, it's really where Beta Ray Bill thrives and excels. Yeah, he's certainly good, certainly powerful, but and he's got that grit, which is nice. But I don't know. I feel like he needs a little something more. I just feel like he's not nearly tanky enough for what a big jacked horse Thor should be. You know? I feel like there should maybe be a little bit of regen in there. A bit more block proficiency. Incoming bleed and poison suffer reduced potency. He's immune to shock and power drain. Decent immunities. That's Bill. Shout out to Scream. Scream's pretty good. Shout out to Venom. Venom's pretty good. And then I think the only other... Oh yeah, there's two more. Gladiator. This one's for Karate Mike. I've seen Karate Mike just do things that would make you think Gladiator is like one of the best Cosmic Champs in the game. Like, it's insane. In Mike's hand, Gladiator is one of the best Cosmic Champs. And then the final honorable mention to Hyperion. Hyperion, a little outdated, a little too RNG reliant, but when that RNG lines up, bro, he's awesome. And then I guess one other shout out to Carolina. She's very new, but in the future I could absolutely see her cracking into the top 5. So yeah, all right. Now let's get to our number 1. The number 1 best Cosmic Champion in the game, whether 6-star, 7-star, doesn't matter. The number 1 overall best Cosmic Champion in the game, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, this man right here. Deathless Thanos. Truly. I think there's literally only one champion in the entirety of the game, regardless of class, that can even hang with Thanos, in my opinion, and that is Onslaught. Is the only other champion in the game that is comparable to Deathless Thanos, in my opinion. And, you know, the crazy thing is that was my absolute highest hope when it came to Deathless Thanos. Like, people ask me, like, Legacy, like, what do you want at Deathless? Like, what are you hoping for? And I remember just saying, like, I hope he's like Onslaught. Like, I hope he's on the level, the caliber of a champion that Onslaught is. And Kabam absolutely delivered. You know, and I think it's so well deserved because, you know, Deathless Thanos, he's not just a monthly release champion that you can get. He's not just either a trophy champion that you can spend 40,000 units to get. No. He's nothing like that. He is completely available, free to play. But you had to actually be playing the game over the course of about a full year, through the course of 2024, doing all the events, collecting all the Deathless pieces for the other Deathless champions, putting together the Deathless team, and then doing more challenges to then unlock Deathless Thanos. Not only is Deathless Thanos the best Cosmic Champion in the game without a shadow of a doubt, not only is he one of my favorite champions in the game, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, but he's also just my favorite acquisition that we've ever had in game with the whole Deathless Chase. You know, I think the Deathless Chase is so much better than the Idle Chase currently is. Like, with Lumatrix, I had to spend, like, I think $26 to get him. You know, with all the Deathless champs, you never had to spend a dime. All you had to do is be playing the game, doing content, getting the pieces, you know, being active. And all that hard work over the course of a year paid off to getting the Mad Titan himself. Like, it just could not have been any better. The chase, the final prize in Thanos himself, he was so worth all that effort, man. And, you know, a lot of the other Deathless champs kind of sucked. So it's like, is this even worth it? Yes, it was so worth it to get this behemoth of a champion, dude. Yeah, like, is Thanos overtuned? Yes. Is he more powerful than most other champions? Yes. But does he deserve to be? Absolutely. Because again, it's not just a champ that you can just spend money for or units for. It's not a champ that you have to get lucky to get. No. It's if you're playing the game, being active, getting the pieces, doing the content, you can earn him. I love that so much. And all that hard work paid off because he's as powerful as he should be. This is freaking Thanos we're talking about with the Infinity Gauntlet, dude. Like, he should absolutely be this powerful, without a doubt. He's an Infinity Gauntlet in the Battle Realm. Like, these are, I believe, stones that were created in the Battle Realm, so they should really work here. Because, the Infinity Gauntlet only works when you're in the right universe. Like, if you take the MCU Infinity Gauntlet and you jump to the animated Spider-Man universe, I don't think the Infinity Gauntlet is going to work there, because there should be an Infinity Gauntlet in that reality, So, like, it makes total logical comic book sense for Thanos to be as powerful as he is from a game balance perspective. Like, I just, man, I'm so happy with Thanos. He was my first ever rank 4. Like, very, very happy with that decision. Let's talk about him a little bit. We haven't even talked about his actual abilities, just how awesome he is. Thanos, what can I say? Phenomenal defender. One of the best defenders in the game right now. And, he's not, like, toxic as, like, Serpent and Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix, so much Noble Flame damage. Serpent, ridiculous power gain. So much block chip damage that you take and stuff. Like, Thanos, he's a massive stall. He totally is. It's annoying how much of a stall he can be. But it's not unfair. It's not toxic. It just slows you down. You got to be patient. Like, man, I think, like, Thanos definitely surpassed my expectations as a defender. That's really not what I was thinking as well with his defensive kit, but I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I like that you get punished on the special 2 if you dash back too much. Again, like, that rewards being skillful. Dodging back the correct amount of times. If you do too many, you get punished. Like, I like that. That's not toxic. That's healthy for me. So as a defender, I think he's great. He's got some super solid immunities with Cold Snap, Frostbite, and Poison. This makes it so that Kate Bishop can't just nuke him, which is great. His protection is such a nice piece of utility. You can, really save yourself. And again, on defense, it really slows the fight down. The counterpunch charges allows him... It makes him so easy to play. Like, it's so simple to pick up Thanos and play him. Because, like, you just block, they hit into your block, and then you punish, and you attack. Like, counterpunching, not only is it, like, super easy, it's how you want to play Thanos, to pause your effects, to pause your armor break, your armor shatter, your colossal 8 furies. Like, so much damage. He created, a whole new damage over time that, again, no one in the game is immune to via corrosion. Brand spanking new. That's cool. He applies a passive permanent one on special 3, which stack up to 10. Like, Thanos is so good for a short form, medium form, long form. It doesn't matter. He can counter so many champions that you wouldn't even think he would counter. He can counter Bullseye. He can counter Onslaught. I've even fought Serpents with him. Like, I've shown all this in videos, in Battlegrounds, fighting these champions. It's insane what Deathless Thanos can do, man. He's so good. Like, seriously. No champion touches Thanos. No champion comes close. Serpent does not come close to Thanos. Thanos is so much better than Serpent in my mind. Like, all around. Like, Serpent and Thanos, I think they're absolutely comparable on defense. They have different defensive threats that you need to respect, but I think they're comparable on defense. I think the experience isn't so bad with Thanos. It's just a little slow and boring. But I think they're very comparable on defense, and then I think Thanos is up and above the vastly superior attacker. Vastly, vastly superior. Especially for, like, short short and medium fights, like Thanos just goes so fast, dude. Serpent takes some time to ramp. In longer form fights, that's where Serpent can really thrive and really ramp to his full max. But even still, Thanos, man, just drops some special threes. You have so much passive damage going. You're hitting so hard on your basic attacks. Like, it's just ridiculous what Thanos can do, man. He has so much utility. He counters so much of the tech class. Like, for example, the brand new defender, Arnim Zola. Thanos is a phenomenal counter to him because he can just, use his heavy attack anytime he wants and, apply that passive stun with his heavy. So nice. You're also pulverizing armors with the heavy, man. Like, it's just so much utility, so much damage. Thanos, just easily one of the best champs in the game. And again, it's so deserving of a champ that took over a year of work to complete, to work towards, and he's got the gauntlet. It's Thanos, number one, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind. Even above, let's talk about some 6-stars. I put Thanos above all these 6-stars. Herc, Hulkling, CGR. I put Thanos above them, bro. I do. I simply put Thanos is that good. He is that guy. All right, let's talk about the 6-stars, though. How do we rank them? So there's really not that many cosmic 6-stars remaining. It's really the big three. Hulkling, Hercules, and CGR. And, it really depends who you ask how you'd rank these. I would say Hercules is number one for being the most broken overall. I'd say Cosmic Ghost Rider is number one for the damage, without a doubt. And then I would put Hulkling as the number one best dual threat, damage, utility, defensive option, all in one. So if I had to rank them, I'd probably go Hulkling 1, CGR 2, Hercules 3. But it just depends what you're looking at and what you're valuing. After those three, we're missing Ronin still, which Ronin's all right. He's not that bad. If they got a lot of buffs, he can really cook. And then we're missing Thor, and that's really about it. Not too many cosmics that we're missing. Oh, yeah, and also the champion. Shout out to Swadia. We'll put the champion at number 4 for him. And then Ronin number 5, tied with Thor, I guess. And these guys top 3 for the 6-star list. All right, guys, but that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for the passionate top 5 cosmic champions ranked. You guys know I love my Deathless Thanos, so I really enjoyed being able to talk about him. But yeah, guys, that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. Top best cosmic champions 2025 summer, all ranked. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree. Drop your own top 5 list in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of the support. Hope you guys all have a great, wonderful day. Peace.